President Chopp, esteemed members of the board, distinguished faculty, fellow recipients, proud parents and families, my own dear family and friends, with a very, very special tip of the mortarboard to one of the great lions of Swarthmore College, my father, Eugene Lang. I must say, I find it most peculiar for me to be up here and you out there. And most particularly to the class of 2010 graduating seniors. I am so honored and grateful to be here. You know, I have played many roles in my career, but as my dear friend Marty Spaninger has pointed out, today may be, in fact, the most unlikely of all. It is, for sure, the most unlooked for. Now, as a rule, it's wise to heed the words of Abraham Lincoln, who has advised that it is better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to open one's mouth and remove all doubt. My goodness, whatever would commencement speakers do without Abe Lincoln? He asked rhetorically. Well, I suppose we would be forced to lean even more heavily on Mark Twain, who confessed that it usually takes me more than 3 weeks to prepare a good impromptu speech. Well, open-mouthed fool that I may be, I've already broken a cardinal rule of both pinochle players and speechifiers, impromptu or otherwise. I've led with my aces, Lincoln and Twain. Where to go from here? Fortunately, I have a highly quotable wild card by the name of Colonel Quaritch. Yeah, you knew I had to bring him up. Now, for those of you who are not familiar, I can tell you that Colonel Miles Quaritch is the head of security at Hell's Gate, the mining compound on the distant moon called Pandora in the movie Avatar. And if Colonel Quaritch were addressing you as to your future, which, in a sense, I suppose he is, he would say, "Ladies and gentlemen, if you wish to survive, you need to cultivate a strong mental attitude." Now, this theme of survival is both noteworthy and remarkable to me because it is a constant. It is with us always, and our survival is never guaranteed. Whether we are talking about survival on a global basis, a national basis, or because I am an actor and in the end, of course, everything is about me, survival on a personal basis. Now, being back on this beautiful campus, it brings me back to my own days here, the olden days, the era of the 1960s, a fractious and a fervent time, when our nation was at such odds with itself that it wasn't clear how or even if we would or could carry on. It was an era of demonstrations, confrontations, and tragically, assassinations. And it went on for over a decade. The 60s didn't really end until around 1974. That's how messy an era it was. And when the dust had settled from 1 million marching feet, some in combat boots, some in sandals, when the shouting had died down from hoarse, angry, and passionate voices, when the hymns of mourning and the drums of lamentation for our slain leaders and soldiers and students had stilled, exactly what had emerged? Having endured the push and pull, the shove of flower power and Black Panthers and National Guardsmen, having withstood the iciness of the Cold War, the torrential rains of Woodstock, the terrifying fire of Vietnam, and the sordid grime of Watergate, having been alternately lambasted, thrilled, shocked, perplexed, inspired, horrified, and awed by Lyndon Johnson, Jimi Hendrix, Richard Nixon, the Beatles, J. Edgar Hoover, and Muhammad Ali. Exactly what had been achieved or found or lost. It was as if America had fought a 15-round heavyweight bout with itself and fought itself to a standstill, which is to say, America was still standing. And this gives me a measure of comfort, and more importantly, a measure of hope when I feel concern and anxiety about the terribly difficult times our nation and our world has recently endured and continues to endure. We came through the 60s bloodied and chastened, but still standing, just as we must withstand and overcome the anxiety and the fractiousness of the present day. And you know, essentially what I've done for the last 3 decades since I left this place is survive. It's as if I have fought my own heavyweight bout, landing some punches, taking more than a few body shots. I've sidestepped and I've backpedaled, I've bobbed and I've weaved, and I've ducked and I've slipped. I've leaned on the ropes to catch my breath, I've lain in the weeds, and I've played possum. And somewhere in the late rounds, maybe the 9th or the 10th round of this bout that I call my career, my life, I was presented with the big glass jaw of success and invited to deliver a haymaker. And that jaw of success is a movie called Avatar. And the haymaker is a character called Colonel Quaritch. Now, I just want to talk about him for a minute. He has many, many admirable qualities. He's brave. He's committed to his mission. He's a man of his word. He's loyal to his own. He's charismatic in his way, and he truly is a dynamic leader. Still, even I have to admit, he has a dark side. Basically, his soul is in pretty ragged, pretty tattered condition. His youthful idealism, we few, we proud, has long been scorched away by the atrocities of 100 dirty wars, and what remains is pure, cynical function. No remorse, no shame, no question, no nothing. And of course, I love him. Because if I don't, who will? And I'm thankful to the Colonel, and I'm thankful to be part of this Avatar phenomenon, a phenomenon that seems to provide inspiration to a lot of people all over the world. Avatar has struck a chord because it tells a story about a person, a tribe, a planet itself taking responsibility for its own survival. Perhaps more fantasy than allegory still. It has tapped into a worldwide yearning for inspiration and proactive hope. And for me, the heavyweight bout continues. Again, it was Lincoln who said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree. I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe." I've worked hard at becoming the best actor I can be, and I figured to continue working on it for at least another 3 decades. And at that point, well, you will have fought your own fights. You will have learned to survive through times of turbulence and hopefully eras of peace. And who knows, maybe some of you may be delivering commencement addresses of your own. Who knows, maybe one of you will be up here delivering an address. But I do wonder if any of you will ever get one of these. Yes, children, this is the Colonel Quaritch action figure. The Colonel has been immortalized in molded plastic, He's priced at a mere $15, and he guarantees hours of fun in the tub going. The Colonel stands at a ramrod 8.5 inches, and he weighs in at a trim 1.6 ounces. He has a highly articulated body. And he is sure to be a collector's favorite. He's fully accessorized. He's fully accessorized, and he conforms to safety requirements of ASTM F963, whatever that means. And his head rotates a full 360 degrees, much as my own does. President Chopp, this is for you. I suggest that you display him prominently in your office. He is sure to intimidate both staff and student and will keep that pesky faculty at bay. Thank you. And as for you, graduating seniors, well, Twain would say to you, always do right. This will gratify some people and astonish the rest. Lincoln would say to you, don't worry when you are not recognized, but strive to be worthy of recognition. Colonel Quaritch would say to you, out there, beyond College Avenue, every living thing that crawls, flies, or squats in the mud wants to kill you and eat your eyes for jujubes. So keep your head on a swivel. And I say to you, work hard at something you love. Keep your act sharp. Drink water between rounds. And always be on time. You do that, not only will you survive, you may well thrive. Congratulations and thank you.